Hi everybody, welcome to Jin's Wall Street News. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported last Friday that the unemployment rate increased from 4.1% in February to 4.2% in March. In addition, total non-farm payroll employment rose by 228,000 in March, much higher than expectations of 140,000 gain. The National Federation of Independent Business announced Tuesday that the NFIB Small Business Optimism Index decreased from 100.7 in February to 97.4 in March. The US dollar index rises to 102.8 after the tariff announcement on Wednesday at around 1 p.m. For the US stocks, S&P 500 jumped 9.52% and the Nasdaq Composite skyrocketed 12.16% Wednesday. Then Niles investment management founder, said on Wednesday after the bell, quote, "The problem that the stock market had before are still in existence." The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported last Friday that the unemployment rate increased from 4.1% in February to 4.2% in March. The labor force participation rate also rose from 62.4 in February to 62.5 in March. According to the establishment survey data, total non-farm payroll employment increased by 228,000 in March, above expectations of 140,000. Employment in healthcare and social assistance increased by 54,000 and 24,000 respectively. Leisure and hospitality added 43,000 jobs, and employment in retail trade rose by 23,700. The National Federation of Independent Business announced Tuesday that the NFIB Small Business Optimism Index decreased from 100.7 in February to 97.4 in March. The NFIB chief economist Bill Dunkelberg said, quote, "The implementation of new policy priorities has heightened the level of uncertainty among small business owners over the past few months. Small business owners have scaled back expectations on sales growth as they better understand how these rearrangements might impact them." The US dollar index moved up right after the tariff announcement at around 1 p.m. on Wednesday, which brought sudden relief to the financial markets. For the U.S. stocks, S&P 500 jumped 9.52% after the announcement, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 7.87%. The tech-heavy Nasdaq skyrocketed 12.16%. Dan Niles, the founder of Niles Investment Management, discussed the U.S. stock market with CNBC, quote, "I think you can't fix all your positioning problems in a day. So I'll take you back to when Lehman Brothers failed. Right back then the government made a huge mistake as well. They let Lehman Brothers fail. The market was getting craters. And then on October 28th, there was expectations of rate cuts, and the S&P was up 10.8% in one day. It then gained another 6.9% over the next 5 trading days before failing 25% to November 2008. I think probably the two things I'm looking at are S&P was near 5700 before it held up that chart. That's probably near where the upside is. And I look at the VIX. The VIX was at about 22 on April 2nd. If the VIX gets down back to those levels, I would say okay, now we can go back to focusing on fundamentals. The problem that the stock market had before are still in existence. You still have high valuations, you have tariffs, they were just not as high as they originally were, and that's inflationary. Earnings estimates have been going down for the S&P 500 since the middle of last year. 6 of the Max 7 had revenue estimate cut for the March quarter when they reported in their December quarter. Okay, this is the end of today's news. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.